Barbados, get up. Good morning Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning, morning Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you on this Monday, February 19th. Great to have you with us in company. We are so happy. Morning Barbados is on the move as we promised you. You're going to see us out and about for the next few weeks. Today we are coming to you live from the Standard Showroom in WIldey. So if you pass by this area, nothing stops you from giving us a little honk as you go by, or a wave if you're walking by. Absolutely fantastic to be able to see what's happening live in real time here in the WIldey area. So we have a fantastic show planned for you as always. We'll be running right up until 6 o'clock. So you can call someone up and let them know we'll be here until 8 this morning. We're streaming on YouTube. You can also find us on Facebook. So a special good morning to those of you who clock in every single day from across the diaspora as well. This morning we're going to be sharing with a husband and wife team that are doing fantastic work in production. Kirk Dawson and his wife Carrie are going to be in to talk about some work they did on a production called Below Deck Grenada. It was shot last year and it's been picked up by Bravo, the international network. They'll be here to talk to us more about that. Plus Caribbean chemistry, catalysts, colors, and cooking workshop. That's coming up, and we're going to be sharing about that with Dr. Claire Durant. Dr. Joanne Simmons-Boyce is going to be in too. Plus, we're going to tell you how you can register to be a part of that. So that's all coming up on today's presentation. As if that wasn't enough, we also have some more exciting things that will be coming up on Morning Barbados. We'll also tell you about Standard Distribution. That is where we are. So we have Renata Mohammed, who's the general manager here at Standard Distribution and Sales Barbados Limited, to talk about this new partnership. We'll be here for a few weeks, so you can expect to see some beautiful furniture and accessories. And of course, we're going to be sharing with you how you can get a chance to come on through and maybe you might be able to win something coming up. We'll show you how to refresh your rooms and make them look like brand new without breaking the bank, and a host of other things that we have planned for you with the entire Standard team. So you look forward to that as well. But we want to get started talking about health and wellness, and no better place to start than with Sean Clark, who's chairman of the National Task Force on Wellness. Also joining us this morning is Sabrina Worrell-Wood, who is Deputy Chairman of the National Task Force on Wellness, and Donna Barker is Senior Health Promotion Officer acting with the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good to have all of you with us. Now I'm going to start with you, Mr. Chairman, wearing that hat today. We're accustomed to having you wearing a different hat.
Yes.
So good to have you talking about health and wellness. How did this particular task force get going?
But I think the task force started, and Donna is the better person for that question, but I think this task force started under the former Minister of Health and Wellness, Minister Bostic. We felt that we really needed to look after the health and wellness of Barbadians. And because of that, then the task force was put together, and we looked basically at the 8 dimensions of wellness. We can get a bit more into that before the interview is finished. But the task force is really to inform Barbados and to work with Barbados and to help Barbadians to understand that it is vitally important for us to look after our health and the wellness of our families.
All right, excellent. So he kind of deferred to you before he even got started, Donna, as Senior Health Promotion Officer in the ministry. Talk to me about why you all thought it was important to start a task force like this one.
Well, in 2018, as he said, under that administration, the ministry's name changed to the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And wellness is not just about health and the absence of disease, but it looks at the overall good quality of life, having a good quality of life. So adding that on, there are 8 dimensions of wellness, things like emotional wellness, spiritual wellness, financial, and of course the physical. And all of these come together to make sure that you have a good quality life and not just the absence of disease. So the task force, the then minister would have put a task force in place to get out into the community and help persons to make that healthy choice, looking at the dimensions, being informed about them and seeing how they can use those to improve their overall good quality of life.
Talk to me about your specific role with the task force.
My role is really just to support the chairman, just to help the committee of task force achieve its objectives with all the different plans we have going on within the year.
And from your perspective, why is it necessary for us to be able to have a task force? I know there are many ways that we can approach trying to arrest what's happening health-wise, but why a task force?
A task force means that it's dedicated emphasis put on this particular topic. And this particular topic is very, very important because without health, without wealth, health, and all those things, we cannot achieve healthy citizens, healthy Barbados. And that is needed for us to be the best Barbados that we could possibly be.
What are some of the major areas that you're going to be focusing on? You're not getting things off the ground, so to speak, because it was present under the last minister,
Yes.
as you mentioned. So what are some of the things that you're working on now to be able to get more Barbadians on board with what you're doing?
Well, as Donna started to mention, the 8 dimensions of wellness: physical, emotional, spiritual, financial, intellectual, I'm missing to social and occupational. And we have teamed the 8 dimensions of wellness under 3 broad themes: Barbados believes, Barbados moves, Barbados protects. And under those 3 headings, we're going to be going into the communities of Barbados, and we're going to be having activities. We're going to be doing things to show Barbados the importance of financial wellness. We're going to show in Barbados that emotional wellness is just as important as physical wellness. We're going to be letting Barbados know that it is good for us to look after our environmental wellness as well. So the task force, we are putting together at least 4 main events throughout the year, and we'll actually be going into the hearts of the communities, and we'll be talking with people, we'll be sharing information. And we also will be having collaborations with other organizations as well, and want to work with that we believe credible enough to be associated with the National Task Force on Wellness, because we believe, as my deputy said, we believe that in order to have a well-rounded Barbadian, a well-rounded citizen, then we need to concentrate on not just the physical wellness of the land, but we have to look at all 8 of those dimensions.
What are some of the challenges that you guys have encountered in promoting health and wellness across Barbados?
Well, some of the things that we do well, getting out there and getting into the community has a lot to do with health promotion. And you find that sometimes persons don't have the finances to come forward and do that healthy choice that we want them to do. Some persons can't get there. They don't have access, easy access. So what we are doing is trying to bring it to them, get into the community, bring it right to them. We have a health fair, we take it into the community, a health walk, health information. So easy access is one of the things that we want to increase, that we see might be an issue. Information, well, Barbadians have lots of information about health. They're well educated, but maybe sometimes financial and just being able to afford that, we try to make that easy as well.
Do you find that a lot of people think it is challenging to be able to stay healthy because of the cost of the foods and stuff like that?
People think so. But I think that if persons are educated as to what is needed in order to stay healthy, because sometimes we think that we need certain things and people try to sell us a lot of things that are not necessary to be healthy. So if we are able to educate the public as to the basic needs to remain healthy and show them how you can choose the necessary things that are not so expensive, I think we could tackle that problem.
Well, Sabrina, we hear this a lot. So how do you plan to go about maybe changing how people feel about this? Not only that, I find that a lot of people, as you mentioned, they have a lot of information. So information is out there. There's no shortage of it. Yet, we see the numbers constantly going up as relates to NCDs. So are they applying the knowledge that they're being given, the information that is floating around? Do you think it's translating to people making a difference in how they approach health and wellness?
I think the biggest issue is that we don't see health and wellness as the 8 dimensions. A lot of the time it's just seen as the physical and nutritional side. But like the environmental side, which is providing a safe environment, both at home as well in the workplace, all that can have an impact on you and being healthy. So you can eat healthy, you can exercise, but if you're having stress at work or if your home environment is not the best, that could also impact on your health, which could then impact on the statistics not showing Barbados being as healthy as it could be.
Your
I'm thinking
thoughts,
that
Sean?
in addition to that, we have to be able to get into people's head. And it hits home at us when it hits home at us. If it is somebody down the gap, if it is somebody in Christchurch, and in St. Michael, and you hear about it on the news, something is not that impactful. So we have to be able to make the correlation between NCDs and other aspects of health personal to people. We have to find a way to, to get in to Barbadians that they can say, you know what, that could be me. She's talking about me. And I think once we are able to achieve that as a task force, once we're able to get Barbadians to come on board with us, once we package our message correctly and I think in an appropriate way, then we will be able to really get into Barbadians and get Barbadians to understand that, again, as my deputy said, it's not all about eating healthy. It's not all about going to the gym, but it's about looking after the environment. It's about looking after your emotional health. It is about looking after your finances. How do I get out of debt and stay out of debt? It is about living within our means. And as a task force, those are the things I think that we need to package in the right way and to target the right audience with our messaging.
So let's get a little more granular and talk about the objectives of the task force overall and how you're going to tailor these specific messages to kind of reach these individual groups. So what are some of the groups of people or, categories of persons that you want to get these messages through to? Because we obviously can't throw a large blanket into the community. So who are some of these categories of people? Who are some of the specific what are some of the specific areas that you want to focus on to align with the general objectives of this task force?
Well, of course, we'll be looking to target young people because we know that is our future. So we want to target school children, we want to target teens. We also are interested in the elderly because we have a large growing elderly population. So we want to be able to keep the elderly well and healthy, those kind of areas. I don't know, in the future we may be able to tackle persons with disabilities because that's a vulnerable group. So those kind of target groups we are interested in.
All right, to your mind, Deputy Chair, talk to me about some of the specific areas because I know each of you will bring your unique views, based on your own personal experiences, knowledge, expertise, understanding to this task force. So from your perspective, what are some of the areas that you need to get into to be able to achieve your objectives?
I think one of them definitely is the financial aspect because money makes the world go. So if it is that you can't buy the healthy foods, if it is you cannot provide for your family, all those things are things that impact. I'm a senior accountant by profession. I'm an accountant by profession. So I understand the importance of budgeting. I understand the importance of allocating your funds accordingly to reach your objectives. And that's one of the biggest things about wealth, so health and wellness is about reaching your objectives, about a healthier you. So definitely financial is important.
Now, there are a lot of things that that will feed into this, but specifically, culture is a major thing. What we do, what we love to do, how we've always done it. Now you're talking, we've heard over the last few years about measuring things. We know, grannies believe the best foods you can make are the foods where you dibble dabble, drop a little something here and there. We're talking about front of label, front of packaging, warning labels. We're hearing about noting down the ingredients and how many calories we can find and things like that. Not necessarily in line with our culture and how we do things. People who love to eat very rich, very spicy foods. That is all a part of who we are.
Yes.
So we have people who might be suffering through various NCDs, and they must have their pudding and sauce, and they want a mellow meal cuckoo with swimming in the gravy and stuff like that. So culture is definitely something that we have to tackle. How do you plan to be able to deal with things like these that are so ingrained in who we think we are that it feels sometimes like you're asking people to move away from themselves?
Well, it is very important that you mention culture because there are some aspects, there are some people that believe there's a ninth dimension, and that is the cultural aspect, the cultural wellness. And so it's very important. It's ironic that you mentioned culture. And yes, it's going to be very, very difficult to change the culture of a land. But the reality is that if you're doing something for 20 years, that does not necessarily mean that you've been doing it right for 20 years. And we have to be able to bring realistic examples to people. We have to be able to do the research and to bring statistics to be and say, yes, we've been eating our cocoon, floating. We've been having our pudding and sauce every Saturday and so on. But here's what the statistics are saying, about that lifestyle. So we need, again, to be real with people. We know it's going to be very, very difficult to change culture. Culture is not something you can get up one morning and decide that I'm going to change it. Even in terms of changing personal behaviors, that is probably one of the most difficult things. And to do, I'm not going to do this anymore. How many people make New Year resolutions and before the 31st of January they're gone through the door? So to change cultures and to change mindset is very, very difficult. But as a task force, we have to be able to work with other NGOs, other governmental organizations to help us to be able to make that change. If we're able to make that change in one household per month, we're on our way.
All right, excellent. You're tuned to Morning Barbados. We are live from the Standard Showroom in WIldey. You can see the traffic passing in the back as the sun rises in the east. Good morning to everybody in the St. Philip area. I know you get a little piece of sunshine before we do, but we're going to be seeing outside looking a little brighter a little time sooner. Usually we're in the studio environment, so you don't get a chance to see the sun coming up. That's what we're aiming for today. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the task force will talk to us a little bit more about their plans and objectives moving forward. Stay with us.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 24 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome back to today's presentation of Morning Barbados. We're taking a look at health and wellness generally, but specifically, we're speaking with some of the members of the National Task Force on Wellness. Sean Clark is chair, Sabrina Wood, deputy chair, and we have Donna Barker, senior health promotion officer acting in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, sitting in with us as well to talk more about it. The minister was supposed to be here with us this morning. Unfortunately, he could not make it, but we're still taking the job of making sure that we get the information out there. Now, Donna, you were mentioning when we went to break that the task force is made up of representatives of a number of very important organizations all across Barbados that represent a number of different people or different demographics. Let's talk more about that.
Okay, yes, the National Task Force on Wellness has about 12 to 15 members, and they are from different areas across the island and different organizations. For example, we have representatives from the Scouts, the Guides, the Pathfinders, Youth Advanced Corps, persons in the community who live with NCDs. So these help us to get out there and have resource persons because they bring their organizations along with them in the community outreach. So we have resource persons, we have persons who can reach out or relate to different areas across the island, and that helps the task force to do their work.
To your mind, Sean, was it important to have so many representatives, apart from the obvious, where people are able to kind of go back and share what is done? What do you think this will do for the work that you're putting in?
It's a big job, it's a big asking. It means that we need to have the manpower to be able to get the job done. The reality is that the members of the task force, we are employed elsewhere, so it's not a 24-hour thing for us. So we need to get people on board. As you mentioned earlier, it's about changing culture. And we cannot change culture without having people involved to help us to bring about that change. And although we have the representation of those organizations, we still want to form alliances with other NGOs across Barbados, other sporting organizations across Barbados. We want to partner with these organizations because we need to get out there in a meaningful way. The National Task Force on Wellness, Barbados Moves, Barbados Believes, Barbados Protects, must become a household name. And we can only do it if we have the support of these organizations, if we have the support of Barbados.
Sabrina, as you mentioned, you're going to be looking to bring other people on board and make sure that you're getting out there to different groups, which I believe is very, very important. How do you plan to measure what you're doing, though, so that we can see the effectiveness of the work that you're putting in?
I think one of the ways that we can measure, because we are on social media platforms, through Barbados Moves, we have the hikes. So I think one of the ways that we can see is as we go along doing the various activities, seeing how the increase of demand, the increase of participation from the world of Barbados. That will help us to see and measure our success.
I saw you nodding in agreement, Sean.
Yes, I'm totally in agreement with the deputy. But it is about getting statistics as well from polyclinics, from schools, from other organizations that will hopefully show us a decrease in NCDs or information, banking information, not your bank account number, but knowing that Barbadians are better able now to handle that and to be able to run households. It is about speaking to organizations about the emotional wellness of people. So once we have the statistics, we know where we are starting, and then we can then gauge what is happening. If those numbers are decreasing, then we know that the task force is being impactful.
As you mentioned, Donna, health and wellness, it covers so much. Quite recently, there's been more of a focus on, I think, mental health and wellness. What role will this play really? Because some might argue that you speak of multiple dimensions, many areas that you're going to approach, but mental health in and of itself is, I dare call it, a beast that needs to be tackled in a way that cannot be usurped by anything else. I feel as though that has to take a front burner. So what place does mental health and wellness take in the overall objectives of what you hope to accomplish?
Well, one of the objectives is emotional wellness, and that is very important, as all of the dimensions are interlinked. If your emotional wellness is not, up to where you would want it to be, it can affect your physical wellness. It can affect your financial wellness. So all of these are important. So we are lucky that we have a chairman who can really assist us and really can speak in terms of mental wellness. And I'm sure that he's going to lead us in terms of getting out there, getting into the schools, getting into the communities, and assisting the Ministry of Health and Wellness in terms of getting our emotional wellness and mental stability messages out there, offering assistance where needed and where we can. As the Ministry of Health and Wellness is now opening up, I've now gone live with a mental health hotline, and maybe even the task force, we can also assist in the promotion of that hotline to the communities that we go into. So there is a lot that we look forward to doing in terms of our emotional wellness.
All right, that's good stuff. You mentioned social media a little bit earlier, Donna, but what are some of the other vehicles? You're going into the community, so I'm looking at the programs that you will be embarking on to bring people along with this messaging.
I think in literature is one of the things. I think Donna mentioned it before. Getting literature out there, literature can be seen both on the same social media when we have our events. Just giving people things they could take with them that at a later date, they could draw on, they could pull. They would remember going to an event, seeing something. Financial wellness, we check that. So literature for sure is one of the things that we would definitely be using as a tool to get our message out there.
All right. In terms of getting the message out there, I want to streamline everything that you've said now, Sean. So I heard a little bit about hikes. You just told me about literature. We talked about social media. So let's kind of list them off and let people know what are all the ways so far that they can play a role or be a part of what's happening with the task force.
Well, they can start by joining us on Saturday, the 25th of February. We will have our booth at AgriFest, and we're going to have different organizations there with us looking at each of the dimensions of wellness. We will be there from from 9 until about 4:30, so you can feel free to come out and to be a part of that. We're also going to have a challenge on stage, a rowing challenge using 2 rowing machines, and that is going to be fun as well. The person that can do the most distance in 60 seconds we will win a prize. We'll also have our spin wheel asking different questions on health and wellness. So that is a way to start, to come out to AgriFest on Saturday the 25th and to join the task force there. From there, we'll be in the communities. We have activities planned for May. We have Barbados Moves in September, which is going to be a massive undertaking for the task force. And then we're having another major event in December of this year. So you can feel free to listen up for what is happening with us. At one of the meetings, I already spoke to my membership about the importance of social media, being able to improve our social media presence, being able to be on all the handles and everything that we do. We are doing it in the name and in the state of Barbados and Barbadians, so that they need to be kept aware and informed of what the task force is doing, where, when, and how.
All right, that's excellent stuff. You guys are doing fantastic work.
Thank you.
So it's good to hear that you're going to be out and about to AgroFest coming up. That's this
Saturday,
weekend?
this weekend, yes.
My goodness, I can't keep track with how quickly the months are going by. Somebody said that, it's going to be a new year, and I thought it would be January now. Apparently it's February, but it's beautiful to see, how things are looking different as the sun comes up outside. Usually we are in the studio environment, so it's good to see how things are changing as the sun comes up. It's good to be in a semi-outdoor space. Just had to mention that for a moment. I know now, Donna, working as a health promotion officer, the focus probably has shifted over time. So talk to me about some of the ways that you've had to kind of pivot to make the messaging a whole lot more relevant. I heard you talking about a lot about social media, but here you are on mainstream media, so I hope you're not leaving us out.
No, can't afford to.
I heard a whole list of people who are part of this task force. I did not hear media either, but I know that you're going to be including other categories of people.
And I will be having a conversation with some person very, 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 very soon. Yes, ma'am.
But all of that is important. So with your knowledge and experience and what you've seen before, based on how you were promoting things, I know coming out of COVID, that probably, took up a lot of what you were doing. But how have you had to pivot to kind of, bring even more people along and an even more discerning person? Because I think now, because people are exposed to so much online and things like that, we're no longer just little insulated Barbadian communities. We are worldwide, global citizens.
Yes. So we try to use as many media channels as we can. We still use the traditional, the television, the radio is very important. There are a lot of people that listen to the radio. As I said, our elderly population is massive. So we have persons at home listening to the radio and watching television, but we have a large amount of people on social media, so we have to use the social media. And people are still using the print media. People are now doing the what do you call it? Sorry, I can't remember the other one, but they're all the media that we use. During COVID, we had to switch to a lot of social media and radio, but we are back out there, and we want to also get the face-to-face. We want to get face-to-face. So we are going to be working definitely with all the media houses. We do a lot of work with GIS as well to get out there and get the messages out.
All right, I want to thank you all for coming in and sharing with us this morning. There's definitely lots to digest. I'm happy to hear that there's so much work going on, not even behind the scenes. We can't say behind the scenes, but so much work going on generally with trying to get Barbadians healthy and well. Yes, final word for you, Mr. Chairman.
We want Barbados to join us. We want Barbados to see what we're doing as meaningful. We want to involve traditional media, we want to involve social media, but we also want traditional media to work with us and to know that the task force, we have a little to no budget. So getting the word out there, it means that traditional media will have to come on as partners and to help us with pushing that message out there. Social media persons will need to help us share different information, and so my task force knows that I believe in color and excitement. So everything that is done has to go to the professional graphic artists, because when it goes out there, it must be impactful. And so look out for the task force. We're going to be doing work. We're going to be close to you. You can contact Donna at the Ministry of Health and Wellness if you have any questions, or please come out to AgroFest. We have a fantastic showing there for you on Saturday.
Yeah, I'd like to commend you on the launching of that hotline as well. People of a certain generation, I don't know who might, remember this, but I certainly know the place that, and I said this before, hotlines like the Samaritan stuck with us. And even though a lot of people kind of made fun and stuff about it, I know it helped a lot of people even programs on radio. Back in the day with PG, it was Heartbreak Hotel.
Yes.
And, you know, a lot of people tuned in, but a lot of people got help in that way as well. Having a community kind of rally around them and share their ideas. So even though you're moving away and using social, remember, traditional works too.
Yes.
All right? So look forward to seeing you guys at AgroFest first and maybe back to share more with us on all the work you're doing. Thank you.
Fantastic.
So
Thank you.
Sean Clark and Sabrina Worrellwood, Chairman and Deputy Chair, respectively, of the National Task Force on Wellness, and Donna Barker is Senior Health Promotion Officer acting within the Ministry of Health and Wellness. It's a bright, sunshiny day here in Barbados. We are in WIldey at the Standard Showroom. When we come back, we are taking in 13 degrees north, a husband-wife team that I know oh so well. They'll share a new project that they've worked on that is now airing in the international sphere. That's all next. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Just about 18 minutes to go before the 7 o'clock hour. Looking beautiful outside. Lots of traffic passing by. We saw some school children making their way over to the roads. All of the public service vehicles and private vehicles alike passing in the great to see how busy it is. So make sure you leave with enough time to be able to get there on time. You know what we tell you every single time here on Morning Barbados. So today we're starting a new series and we're calling it Family Matters. And joining us this morning to talk a little bit more about this is Cornelius Bartlett. Now, he's a family advocate, preacher, teacher, life coach, mentor, motivational speaker, business consultant, and we can add a whole host of other things to that list. So good morning, good to have you with us again.
Good morning, it's great being here.
It's great to have you for this particular series that we want to embark on, and we're going to be looking at a host of different things that affect the family in the coming weeks, but today we really want to start looking at marriage. You know, I don't believe marriage still takes the place that it did in our community as it did before. Things have changed, people have changed. So, you know, share with us your perspective on the significance of marriage or the significance marriage holds in today's society.
Okay, what you've just said is so true. Unfortunately, it's true. I want to first of all say that I would not want to discuss marriage without first discussing God, where it started. And what has happened today is that in today's world, we have a lot of definitions of marriage. We have a lot of operationalizations of marriage that is set outside of God. So let's look at what marriage was created for. Marriage was created as a seed. I want you to think of it as a seed by which society was supposed to expand and grow and be a beautiful place. And to the extent that we see all of the dysfunction and all of the fallout in society is the extent to which family has moved away from God. And we're talking marriage as the original seed, man, woman, and then eventually, in some cases, you have children. So we have gone wrong simply because we have gone away from God. So therefore, if you purchase a vehicle and you want the best operation of that vehicle, you would think that you would check with the manufacturer to see what the manual says, right? So the problem that we have right now in terms of marriage is that people are listening to movies, they're listening to music, they're listening to themselves. And let's not forget that there are spiritual forces in the earth. I know some people get uncomfortable when you start to discuss spirituality. But in the years I've been on the earth, I've come to the point where I've realized that spirituality is the only reality. And we go around blindly thinking that we have it all covered and we're so intellectual and we have so much knowledge and we read this body's book and that body's book and the movie says that and the reality TV show says this, and we're missing what God says, which is the creator of family and marriage.
All right, so again, what place does it hold in today's society?
Well, what place it holds really is up to the individual. So if I can get personal, I run my life based on what I choose. And I'm sure you run your life based on what you choose. And all I'm doing, and I have a charity called Family Fest, where we promote the values that actually work. The values that will bring persons back to the center. So if you want to see marriages start to work again, let people go back to the original prototype that God created. Marriages are supposed to work because men are supposed to love their wives like Christ loved the church. Women are supposed to submit to that love. And if children are involved, children are supposed to honor parents. But unfortunately, we live in a society where people are saying, you know, these are modern times, we have to change with times, and that is the mistake. So you continue to see divorce rates going up. And nobody is stopping to realize, wait a minute, why is it that our divorce rates are going up? Why is it that there's so much dysfunction and so much damage going on in families? And it's simple. We have moved away from God. And if we want to solve it, we need to move back to what God says. And it's not even about being a Christian or being in this religion or that religion. My take on it is quite rational, which is look to see what the manual says. And even if you decide that you don't want to believe in the God that I'm talking about, see if the principles that is laid out will work or won't work. Because what we have now isn't working.
Okay, so Barbados is predominantly a matriarchal society. We've not seen a major shift away from that in recent years. I haven't done my research in that regard to come to you with empirical data, which is something that I probably should look into so we can share numbers. But what are some of the misconceptions that you think people have about marriage or apprehensions even? So we're seeing still so many single home families as compared to maybe in other places in the world.
Okay, I wouldn't say that there are misconceptions because people know what they know and what they grew up seeing. And if, for example, they came from a home where my mother and father were not together, and I was raised by, let's say, a mother, that's what I know. Or if I look and see that my aunt is being beaten by her husband, and then eventually she ended up in divorce, that's what I know. The point I'm making, or the point I would want to leave or put out there, is that there is a better way. Now, the reason why, unfortunately, we have matriarchal homes, it's very complex. It's very complex. It has connections with slavery, for example, because bear in mind that all of us in this part of the world, we came out of slavery. And if you look back at the history of us as people, because we're talking about black people, but if you look, for example, at the white families in Barbados, for example, you see that their family structures are a lot stronger. Yes, they're a minority. If you look at the Indian as an ethnic group, their family structures are stronger. So you would ask the question, why is it that you have a majority population where that's black? And when you look at all of the dysfunction in terms of family and in terms of marriage, it's mainly amongst the black. Yes, you could argue that if the stats are higher, then you will notice higher incidences. But if you look at the other ethnic groups, you will see that there's a very strong connection with family. You can go on walls in these houses and you can see 3 and 4 generations. And there are some people walking around, some young boys and girls walking around Barbados that can't even tell you who their father is. So yes, I applaud the women out there that are trying their best, that have been left to raise children. But the truth of the matter is that in order for this to change, we need to have both the men and the women starting to think differently. I think that people think that sex is supposed to be about fun. And we're talking about marriage, so a lot of persons believe that marriage is a waste of time because the examples that they're seeing of marriage are not good examples. Because, and I have to go on this kind of holy ground, even people in church, the divorce rate is high. And you know what the divorce rate is high? The same reason I started with at the beginning. There are people in church who are not even listening to God and what God has to say about marriage. You understand what I'm saying? There are people in church, and it has to be said, going to church doesn't make you immune from being divorced, or it doesn't make you immune from not having problems in your marriage. You will, and I'm not God, and I'm not making pronouncements as though I'm God. I'm just saying that I'm passionate about family. I spend a lot of time studying family and reading, research, and you name it. And I'm saying that even in church, the reason why there are men in church who are beating their wives. There are men in church. There are men in church who are cheating on their wives.
Well, we know that we liken the church a lot of the times to a hospital where people come for help.
Beautiful.
So the truth of the matter is sometimes we have our own misconceptions about what the church is and what it's meant to do. But if it's not there for healing, then why is it there? It's there to help guide us, especially if we're, looking to get back on the path of righteousness, so to speak, as you have mentioned. I wanna double back. Well, tell me what you were about to say.
No, you were saying that church is a hospital, and I wrote an article many years ago, and that's exactly how I described it. But here's the thing: in a hospital, you don't expect the doctor that is supposed to be caring for you to be functioning in the same sick rate. So I'm just saying that there are lots of people who come to church and they expect the surgeon to do surgery and the doctor to do what he does and the nurse to do what the nurse does. But very often they themselves are also in need of care. So I think that we need to have a situation where church starts to function as it should. Yeah? But you're quite right. A church is supposed to be a hospital, so you're supposed to see varying levels of infirmity and varying types of infirmity within that organization. But they're also supposed to be professionals or workers who are supposed to be helping people to heal.
Okay, now I feel like I've seen a shift in how Barbadians see marriage. Certainly in my generation, like I told you, I don't have empirical data to support, but there's so many of my friends and people of my age group who are married, who have been married. And I see that now kind of coming up a lot more. People are certainly more open about what they do and how they build their families and so on. What do you think accounts for the changes, whether people are open to marriage or not? I know in Barbadian society, and we spoke about culture and cultural influences in the last segment, but for a long time, and even now sometimes, I feel like women look at marriage totally different from men. They're celebrating and they have all their ladies involved and we're excited. But with the men, it's like, he's going to jump off a cliff. What were some of the terms they use? The fellas have to help me. He's going to pop his neck. He's getting the old ball and chain.
He's getting hang.
He's getting hang. All these things. So I feel like it's a difference in terms of how women approach marriage as compared to how men do. And I think this is all cultural.
Part of it is cultural, but part of it is also the essence of who a woman is and the essence of who a man is. So let's start at the beginning. Men like respect. So you will see that a lot of men who are having issues in marriage, 90 probably % of them will tell you, I don't feel respected. Then women who have problems in marriage, 90% of them will tell you, I don't feel loved. So it begs to bear the question as to what or how are men defining respect and how are women defining love. Now I want to highlight a very sad reality. I mentioned it at the beginning. The sad reality is that our value systems are being corrupted by the information that we're receiving. Now we have eye gates and ear gates. And you see these gates, we do not take these gates seriously enough. Because if you look at in one day, if you look at the amount of information you take in through your eyes and your ears, and you look at this happening days and weeks and months and years, that's why I'm afraid for our children and the influence of the screen on our children. As adults, we walk around indoctrinated. If you were brainwashed, I could say that, into believing and having values that are so corrupt. You understand me? We have been brainwashed into having values that are so corrupt. So out of those corrupt values that we have as men and women, we take it into marriage. So you find that women tend to focus a lot on the glitz and glamour. So you can go and borrow $50,000 and or $100,000 and have a big fancy wedding. But the essence and soul of what will make that marriage work isn't there. So in 3 months, you hate the man guts, the man hate your guts, and you want a divorce in 3 months. After spending $50,000 and $100,000 and inviting 300 or 400 people. The man now, because you think about it, this is so, we probably have to spend a week discussing this, but we come into marriage with a lot of our traumas. So you find that the woman comes in with hers, together with the dysfunction, with the brainwashing of the TV industry and the movie industry and the sound industry and the evil forces, the spirits out there speak in your head. But you have men come in also with their own traumas as well. So you have men come in believing that a woman is supposed to be his slave or supposed to worship him because his self-esteem may not be quite where it should be. I mean, it's so complex. This is like something that we should probably get maybe a psychiatrist in who will actually spend time studying it. But the point of the matter is that because I have an interest in family, I can tell you that a lot of people, and I don't want to say majority, but a lot of people go into marriage with way too much baggage, way too much trauma, way too much brainwashed misconceptions. And those concepts are not from God. Those concepts are fed from movies. They are fed from songs, music. They are fed from evil forces. They are fed from all sorts of sources because we are not even a quarter as guarded as we should be in terms of what goes through our eyes and goes through our ears. You have men, for example, who hooked on porn. Let me give you an example, for example. I know a lot of people hear me like, he's touching on the holy ground. There are men, for example, who are hooked on porn. And women are hooked on porn too. When a person is hooked on pornography, you can no longer see your spouse the way you're supposed to see your spouse. You no longer see men and women the way you're supposed to see them. And the truth of the matter is that everything about you and me resides and revolves up in here. I don't care if you are the queen or king. I don't care if you're the prime minister, if you're the best engineer or lawyer in the world. We are all human beings first. And what is going on in here is what determines how we run marriages, how we run business, how we run everything. This is the engine room. This is the engine room.
All right, so what advice would you have for people who might be looking on? I know there are a lot of people who are getting into a first marriage, but would have brought in that baggage, and now they've kind of sorted it out, because I don't think that we ever get rid of baggage. I think we just figure out where to pack it away, how to make it look fancy, how to, maybe build a few more cupboards, get a little bit more storage space, so it's not clutter. And I think where baggage is clutter is where you have problems, but where we're able to use our baggage or challenges to be able to grow and build, then that makes the difference. So what advice do you have for people who might be looking to get into a marriage, might be a little reluctant about what their approaches should be?
First of all, I said it, I'll say it again. You need to check with God. And when I say check with God, I'm talking about check to see what God has to say about marriage, because that's actually the manufacturer. If I have one vehicle, I'm not going to check with another vehicle manufacturer to find out what's the best operation. If you're not married yet and you're thinking about it, I would say to pause and make sure that you fix you. The problem that we have is that a lot of people going into marriage and they're looking for the perfect person. So in other words, I want you to be perfect, but I'm really messed up. I think we need to fix ourselves first, so that when we come into marriage, what we do, we bring our best self. So we have two people bringing their best selves to each other and pouring into each other. So you have the woman, the man preferring his wife. You have the wife submitting to the husband. And
Sometimes.
But I'm saying that's what should happen.
Yeah.
Ideally.
But sometimes, listen,
Sometimes
I heard it. You have the husband loving his wife completely sometimes, and the wife loving her husband completely sometimes. I'm talking about real life. It's not every day that you feel like I've made the best decision, and it's not because it's not because I feel like people don't have that stickability anymore.
Just now?
I feel like people don't have that stickability anymore. So every day you don't feel like you love this person, but if you know that you've made a commitment, and I'm not talking about deep down I'm talking about the superficial stuff, because that matters too. Where one day you're saying, oh my goodness, what's going on here? We all have those days.
Yeah.
You know, I'm deep in this thing, maybe 20 something years gone clear. So believe me, but I mean, there's so much to cover. We definitely have to get back to this topic, though. Final word.
Before you go, I just want to pick up on what you just said. You know what you just said? I feel like the thing I would want to leave with people, because we can't continue all morning, is to say this. You see, feelings? You cannot run your marriage or make decisions, important decisions in life, by feeling. Feelings are like an aircraft, a boat, or a train. They come and they go. The important thing is that if you operate in your marriage by principles, you're going to realize that those principles are going to be consistent, whether you're feeling up or down. Which is why I said we need to check with God.
All right. So
Yeah.
listen, well, we will have to agree to disagree on that one, but we can discuss it further as well.
Sure.
Because feelings to me are important.
They're important,
and
but
I'm
you
not
can't live by
talking
them.
about the old sprays that they used to use back in the day.
Suppose we all live by feelings. Every time you feel like somebody offend you, you want to kill them, what are you going to do?
No, but
get what I'm saying?
no. Because you feel something doesn't mean that you're going to act on it.
But some people act on it.
Yeah, but people will act on stuff. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be guided by feeling. That's, you know, we'll talk about this as we continue.
For sure.
Because this is Family Matters. Of course, we want you to weigh in. So you can email us morningbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. And share what your thoughts are on marriage. If there are any questions that you have for Cornelius when he comes back next time to talk more, we definitely have to continue along this line so that we can share more with each other and hear some of the questions that you would like me to ask. Hey, we're going to take another break. The sun is out in all of its glory, and we are too. We're at Standard in WIldey and having a fantastic time. I don't know if you've been taking in some of this gorgeous furniture and these accessories and so on, but I don't know how I'm going to go home without them. We still have the general manager of Standard to come here on Morning Barbados. We're going to talk about a brand new partnership with the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. So that and so much more coming up. Do stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning. It's time for an update of the news. Kensington Oval has made a big step into the field of clean energy. The Mecca now has solar panels on all of its stands. Chairman of Kensington Oval Management Incorporated, Damien Gaskin, shed light on some of the plans during a tour of that facility.
Manager Haynes, if you people cross, you can see the PV on here in this as well, and there's also PV on the roof here as well as over by the barn. The barn system has been connected. We are supposed to have GED inspection on another two buildings within the next couple of weeks. We anticipate, but by the end of this quarter, we expect the PV system should be up. Or at least the installation should be finished, and then we will be waiting on then the connection to the grid. So that's one of the big projects that we've been working on to become more self-sustaining, and that now should be up and running by the end of this first quarter.
Does your system include backup batteries?
Not right now. The cost for the batteries were prohibitive for us, so it's going to be grid tied. But I think batteries is something that we may look at going forward.
Meanwhile, the Barbados Defense Force and the Barbados Police Service have started their preparations for the upcoming ICC 2024 Men's World Cup that will be held in June. Chief of Staff of the BDF, Commodore Arrington Sherland, says the two entities have already started training exercises together to make sure the event runs smoothly and safely.
The Barbados Defense Force, working along with the Barbados Police Service, have already established a working group. We've already started training activities because we will be working together to ensure that there's a safe and secure World Cup, as we did in 2007 and 2010. So we will be training together in several areas in order to make sure that the event comes off successfully and more importantly, safely.
Now, Commodore Sherland has also stated that with the technology in use today, the World Cup will have more risks than previous major events held here in the Caribbean. He says there are two areas that they will be paying very close attention to.
If I had to single out two areas that we will be focusing on that were not prominent in the 2007 iteration, it would be how we ensure that we remain secure within the cyber domain, as well as to be able to deal with drones in the sky around the Kensington Oval and also the other practice areas. Of course, the whole issue of checking the facilities for explosives, making sure that persons coming into the country are not on any watch list or anything like that. So we will have to do that in conjunction with the border security officials, in particular the Immigration Department.
A number of private sector businesses have voiced concerns about the Labor Clauses Concessions Bill. This was disclosed by Chairman of the Barbados Private Sector Association, Tricia Tanis. She acknowledges that a number of amendments were made to the draft bill after government met with the Private Sector Association. But according to Ms. Tanis, in subsequent consultations with the wider private sector, a number of additional concerns had been raised.
These included clarification on why the actions of a few hotels have led to consequences for the entire tourism accommodation sector and beyond, the explanation of the process used to identify which sectors will be subject to consultation, information on the procedure for reviewing a company's compliance with labour laws, details on how the removal of concessions will be implemented if it is deemed necessary to do so. As it relates to conditions under Schedule 2, recognition of the importance of allowing businesses the flexibility to implement best practices in their operations to increase their productivity and efficiency without compromising employee rights, and finally the potential for the Act to be misused given the sweeping powers attributed to the referenced ministers of government, whether present or to come.
Now, Ms. Tanis is optimistic the concerns will be addressed with the regulations that are yet to be drafted.
We have been assured by the Government of Barbados that the private sector will be given the opportunity to consult on the regulations that will frame the implementation of the bill. It is our expectation and hope that our recommendations will be substantially accepted to avoid the potential havoc in the affected business sectors arising from ad hoc implementation of this Act, and that after the consultation period has ended, we will have sight of the final regulations prior to their release as a professional courtesy.
Well, the hurricane season is months away, but scientists are already warning about the possibility of a hyperactive season. That's because ocean temperatures in the North Atlantic are historically warm for this early in the year. Sea surface temperatures across the North Atlantic Ocean reached a level unheard of for February earlier this month, 1 degree Celsius above what's typical. Now, senior research scientist at the University of Miami, Brian Munnally, explains warm ocean water provides the necessary fuel, not just to help storms form, but to also boost their strength. He says it's a continuation of record-smashing global ocean heat that started last March and hasn't stopped since. Well, that's our news update for Morning Barbados. Remember, we have the midday news coming your way at 12 noon here on TV8. That will be followed by the radio news on 100.7 FM, 94.7 FM, and 98.1 at 1 p.m. Stay with us. A whole lot more is to come here on Morning Barbados. Up next, the husband and wife team who make up 13 degrees north. They're below deck and telling us how next.
Morning, morning, morning. Morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back. A bright sunshine as it continues to glow up here in WIldey, St. Michael. Good to have you with us. So I'm going to go right ahead and welcome some married people to Morning Barbados who understand feelings. Listen, the guys should cue that in the background, but that's definitely some food for thought and discussion. But, you know, I want to congratulate you guys on all that you're doing. I know that you've been in production for quite some time. Yes. Now, I've known Kirk for a longer time that I've known Carrie, only because we went to school together.
Correct.
So, you know, I've known you from, you know, teenage years. And then, of course, we've worked together in different capacities,
yes.
Throughout the years. So congratulations on moving forward with this. Kerry Birch, Kirk Dawson, sometimes when you know people, you forget to bring other people along so that we know. Now, co-founders, executive directors, and producers of 13 Degrees North Productions, Inc. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you have an incredible story to share. So because I know Kirk, I'm going to start with.
No problem.
Carry on. And of course, ladies first. I'm going strictly on how I'm feeling about it. Okay. So for you, talk to me a little bit about your business before we get into this awesome production that you embarked on in 2023.
Okay, so 13 Degrees North Productions is a video and film production company based here in Barbados. What we like to call ourselves is an international production company We specialize in, like I said, film and video production, but as well as production facilitation. And what that involves is us becoming the local producers, for productions that are coming in from overseas, so places like the UK, the US, Canada. And what we do for them is we make sure that they have everything that they need on the ground to make the production run smoothly. So we find them crew, we find them accommodation, we find them locations, we deal with the scheduling, we help with the budgeting of the production on ground here. So yeah, that's mainly what we do.
How were you able to position yourself in this way, Kurt, to be kind of the gatekeeper, the go-to place for productions coming on island?
After being in business, Mornin Barbados. After being in business for over 10 years, it took us a while to position ourselves in this realm or this aspect. But it's a lot of hard work. It has been keep on doing it over and over and over again. The last 10 years has seen us working with a lot of international crews, and then it just becomes second nature, basically. So from Married to Medicine to Girls Cruise to now Below Deck, it has been an ongoing process for us over the last 10 years.
So there we are. I've watched Below Deck, Mediterranean, and a whole host of other places. So I'm really happy to hear that we are seeing a Below Deck that's rooted, based here in the Caribbean. Tell me about how it came about.
Funny story. So Kirk and I, we actually had a job in Grenada in 2018. And on that job, we had to, because Grenada is a tri-island state. So we had to sail from the mainland Grenada, we had to go to Carriacou, we had to go to Petite Martinique. And as we were sailing, I was looking at all the other little islands that you see as you go along the way. I was looking at the marinas and what's not, and I thought, this will be a really good location for Below Deck. And I watch all the Below Decks. It's one of my favorite reality shows, right? So we have met the producer, one of the producers, when we were working on Married to Medicine when they came to Barbados. So I immediately start taking pictures, and I sent them off to him, and I said, I'm going to get you a proposal. I think they should come to Grenada. And it took us 4 years. Every year I sent a proposal to the producer saying, you need to come to Grenada, you need to come to Grenada. And then finally they called and said, are you ready to take us to Grenada? And I was like, yeah. So,
yeah, what did that feel like though, Kurt? Because for some people, they feel like, particularly with productions, they think it happens like this. And we laugh all the time because there are still people who say, why would it take so long to make a 30-second commercial? Yeah, because it's 30 seconds, but it doesn't take 30 seconds of video. It doesn't take 30 seconds of editing. So you took 4 years, you know, but what kept you moving forward? What kept you saying, listen, I'm going to submit this proposal every single year?
Well, for us, we've always had the mindset that we wanted to get to a point in business where we are telling our stories in the Caribbean, and that has kept us motivated and kept us pushing. So while working on Married to Medicine and meeting them, and I was saying, okay, we need to do more, keep pushing, and always having the end goal in mind as to where we want to be in the next 10 years. So that was definitely the motivational factor of saying, year after year, we want this show, we need to do this show, because at one point in time, the show had actually stopped being filmed in the Caribbean. And we were adamant that it needs to come back to the Caribbean, and we want to bring it back to the Caribbean. And then we also were saying it would be a good gateway to become producers of an international show, then that then springboards you into producing more international shows.
All right, so tell me about the role you played with Below Deck Grenada.
Okay, so I was the local producer on the ground. So again, finding all the crew, I had to go down there. I did interviews with people to make sure that they were good enough to be on the production. Kirka, we have a mandate that wherever we go in the Caribbean, that people from the islands that we work in should be on the crew. And we also have a mandate that whatever we're working on, people should be able to see the culture coming out of the place, coming out in whatever it is. So I found them the crew, I dealt with the permitting, but as we were filming, my main role was segment associate producer. And the segment producers are the ones, we call it the fun team. We're the ones that come up with all the fun ideas for what people could do. So if you watch the show, you will see that the guests, like, they would request certain things. So they will want to do a casino party or a Hollywood party. The segment team is the team that kind of pulls that all together. And we also let the guests know what there is on the island that they could enjoy. So we actually get to go out 2 weeks before we actually start filming. And we do every activity that we deem as fun on the island so that we could pitch this to producers and pitch this to guests so that you see it on the actual screen.
All right, so why Grenada? I know that our girl Petra is there now and all that good stuff, but you know, why did you think Grenada would make the perfect spot for Below Deck?
Well, like I said, being a fan of the show, I know what the show calls for, and it's very important to understand, you know, what shows need when you want to pitch something to them. So being a fan of the show, I knew the things they look for when they're looking at the excursions for guests that are happening off of the boat. And I knew Grenada they have their waterfalls, they have their beaches, they have their mountains, they have the little islands off of the main island where you could go and have you know, your private lunches and that sort of thing. And I felt that, and also they have a marina that could actually you know, suffice a mega yacht, right? So when I saw all of that, I thought definitely the perfect place.
All right, tell me about the production itself, because as a producer myself, I know that once you get into production, it can take you away from everything else.
And that is our
specifically
life.
Producing in another country and really wanting to do well, because here you are doing this really big and established production for a brand that's loved and known, and you've been given a mandate to produce 17 episodes for season 11. So again, congrats. So what really was going through your mind, Kirk? You know, I mean, what was happening once you guys got away from the entire team and the smiles, and it was just the two of you, and you know, you two were probably like, what is going on here?
So to tell the truth, there was a point where that did occur in the beginning stages, but when we actually got to filming, we had to actually separate in terms of, because we run a company, so Below Deck really became Kerry's baby. Well, I had to manage this stuff here on ground in Barbados. So I was back and forth in Grenada, but we had other international productions happening in Barbados, which then I had to look after. But Kerry was already the Below Deck brainchild and real producer for that one. I was not in Grenada constantly. The Grenada, the filming of this, the preparation and filming literally took us from November 2022 into March 2023. So like you were saying earlier, yes, it takes a long period of time. So the shooting schedule or the shooting period was actually January to March. So we had to make a decision as to how we were really going to divide and conquer.
Yeah. And conquer you did. You had a watch party, which means, you know, things are done, because once we're done shooting, then the real work begins in terms of editing and making it look the way we envisage as producers that we want people to experience what we put there for them. So, you know, talk to me about the finished product and how you feel about what you've been able to accomplish.
So the finished product is left to the other producers. So they are post-production producers who deal with that. As you would have mentioned, there are 17 episodes that are to come out. I think today will be the third episode airing. It airs on Bravo TV at 10 p.m. But essentially for us, our work was basically done once the filming was done. Our part of it was to make sure that what was going on camera was, I want to say, like, spoke to the Caribbean, it spoke to Grenada, and it also spoke to the brand and what they wanted. So it was just to make sure that we were giving everybody on the team the best that we could give them.
Oh, that's beautiful. What do you want to say to other local producers, to others who might have a big dream or an idea? Because the pitch is everything. Getting the opportunity, I think the stars really lined up for you guys in terms of, you thinking about a show that you liked personally. To be able to do that must have been a phenomenal feeling as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so for me, the advice I would give to other producers is keep at it, keep working, don't give up.
Yeah.
Things do align, and when they do, you have to be ready. It does not happen overnight. It is a constant put in the work. Once you have that dream, for me, I like to tell anybody, it is possible, and you can make it a reality.
You can make it a reality. It's true, and to persevere, because the truth of the matter is once you do have a dream and you keep working at it, things are going to fall into place, because everything that you are doing, you will be living and you will be breathing this thing that you want to do. So if you are doing that, there's no way that it can't happen for you.
All right, beautiful stuff. Carrie Birch, Kirk Dawson, co-founders, exec directors, producers with 13 Degrees North Productions, Inc. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I am back on Below Deck. I definitely am on for season 11. I am here for it. I like the drama, and I think the Caribbean will bring a little bit more of what we love. Of course, to be able to showcase our beautiful Caribbean is always a wonderful thing, too. So congrats on all the fantastic work that you two continue to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Even as you get really old, Kirk.
I can let that one slide.
Okay. I know how old you are. All right, again, thank you for coming in. Hey, we're live at Standard Showroom in WIldey. Do stay with us. Coming up next, we're going to tell you how you can get involved with something very, very important. That's right, we're talking Caribbean chemistry, catalysts, colors, and cooking workshop. That is next.
Morning, morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So welcome back to Morning Barbados. We're taking in some sunshine and I'm loving it. A big difference from what we're accustomed to being in the studio is bright sunshine in the sky. And I know you can see all the traffic going by in the WIldey area just outside, people walking by. It truly is a busy time here in this particular area. We're going to tell you more about what's happening here. But we want to start talking about Caribbean chemistry. And to tell us more about it, we have a few ladies who are joining us on set now. Dr. Claire Durant 25-year member of the Royal Society of Chemistry and consultant in climate resilience, and Dr. Joanne Simmons Boyce, Senior Instrument Technician, Department of Biology, Biological and Chemical Sciences, UE Cave Hill. Whew. What a mouthful.
Well, people always say that chemistry is difficult and people associated with chemistry, but we are here today to tell you that we are bringing chemistry for the students on Saturday, the 24th of February from 10 until 12:30 p.m. at the University of the West Indies Pavilion with compliments of the Principal, Professor Landis, and we are going to have an exciting show and tell program so that students will see that chemistry is involved in their everyday lives, and it is a really interesting area that you can become involved in. It's not just equations, it affects our everyday lives.
Absolutely. You're going to tell me exactly how. I'm one of these people who probably was thinking, who? Yeah, no, maybe not. Yeah,
Okay.
so talk to us about how you're going to be able, or how you're planning to bring chemistry to life for this show and tell. I see you have a few visual aids.
Yes, that's right. So I have in my hand here a plant called annatto, and annatto is used to make coloring for all sorts of products. Inside you can see that there's some seeds there, and those seeds there are used to make coloring for many of the products that we eat every day and that students love.
Okay, well, let me hold that.
Yeah, you're going to hold that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's falling apart a little bit.
Right, because
is this grown here in Barbados? Look,
yes,
guys.
that's right.
Is
That's
this grown
right.
here in Barbados?
That is correct.
What's it called?
Annatto.
Annatto.
Yes.
Where do we find this?
You would have it in the botanical garden. There's some at Andromeda, and then other places you would see
Look
it
at
growing.
this. I would probably run away from this. Yeah, but through science, through chemistry,
that's
we're
right.
able
You can
to
learn.
see the
So
benefits.
I made a little extract of it, and it's red, and it's used for lots of coloring items. So things like this cheese, it's written. You have annatto as a vegetable color, the corn pops, annatto as the vegetable color, and then all these lovely snacks. When you look at the ingredients, it has annatto.
I'll send you the bill for advertising after.
Oh my goodness. Right, so the focus is, as we said, catalysis, colors, and cooking. So annatto will fall under colors. As one of the activities, we are going to be having Berger, and they are going to come, and the students are going to get the opportunity to make a paint sample and paint it using different pigments. Rajpal, the designer, he's going to come and he's going to talk about how you use colors, and students will get the opportunity to win some of his lovely t-shirts.
No, that's good stuff. No, we have to include your colleague because
yes,
she's not said a single word. But
yes.
I know, having people like us,
yes,
who like a lot of this. Sometimes we have to bring other people along.
Yes, okay.
Yes, so jump right in.
All right, so in addition to what Claire said, we also have Roberts Manufacturing. They're partnering with us as well, and they will show the students how margarine is made. Everybody's most people use sunflower butter at home in their cooking and their baking, so the students will get to experience how margarine is made and how catalysts play a part in that process. Then we also have Solar Dynamics coming on board. They are going to show us about how solar power is stored, and the students will get to learn about batteries that are used for storage of solar power, as well as lithium-ion batteries. Now everybody has a cell phone, and if your cell phone battery goes down, it's a problem. Some people can't live without their cell phones. So lithium-ion batteries, those are the batteries that are used, those rechargeable batteries in your laptop. All of them are lithium-ion batteries, and those are the batteries that are used. So the students will get to learn something about the devices
Absolutely.
that
And
they
these
use.
days we're moving more in the direction of electric vehicles and really electric
Yep.
everything.
Yes,
So
that's right.
I think
Yep.
it will be great to make the connection.
Yes.
In my day, I don't think that we got to do as many experiments and things to make that connection.
Yes,
and I
that's
think
right.
that is what will make all the difference, because
Of course.
we don't necessarily think of food science
Yes,
and
that's
how
true.
scientists are able to make that connection
Yes.
for us, or how regular everyday things are used
Yes.
and how they're made through science as well, the
Yes.
part that
Yes.
science plays.
Of course, of course. And another interesting application of color, with compliments of the Chief of Staff of the Barbados Defense Force, we are going to have some gentlemen from the BDF. We know that camouflage is colors, and those colors allow the gentlemen to be able to conceal themselves in different places, and we are going to have a demonstration by them where the soldiers are going to have on their camouflage, the digital camouflage, which is the one with the little pixels, which helps too with when you are taking photographs that you won't be able to see them, and they are going to conceal themselves in some places, and the students will get the opportunity to see if they can identify where those gentlemen are.
It
So
sounds
that's
like,
a use of
this
color
sounds
as
like
well.
an activity I need to be involved in. So, I mean, they're finding guys in camouflage. Like, my brain is going all over. Behave yourself, Tisha. Okay, so
Yes, we have SJPA partnering with us as well. So we thank them. They're going to bring a model of a lithium-ion battery. And then to finish off the show, we are going to have a dramatic presentation of flash freezing of fruit purees using liquid nitrogen. So the students will get to see liquid nitrogen. Most of them have never encountered it before. It's typically, nitrogen is a gas, but then we can liquefy it. And once we liquefy it, we get a lot of, we call it smoke, but it's not really smoke, but it's very dramatic. It's used to make things like ice cream, so we can use it in cooking. So we really want the students to see that chemistry is involved in their everyday life, and that even when you get up on mornings and you say go into your kitchen to make breakfast, you're using that margarine, you're using vegetable oil, all of those things are chemicals, and they play an important part every day.
all right, so how do we get involved? When is the workshop coming off?
So the workshop is on Saturday, this Saturday, the 24th of February, from 10 until 12:30 at the University of the West Indies Pavilion. You will see the flags and flyers up. We have available a flyer which we have sent out to the schools and the SJPI. I can be contacted at my telephone number 254-8259, and also an email. For students who are under the age of 18, we have a parental consent form which you would have to fill out, but we are welcoming. We have space for 100 students, and we will also be providing, drinks, compliments of Barbados Bottling, Barbados Industries, and we will also have snacks provided by Good Time Snacks.
I
So
can
we
tell.
are welcoming you.
I can tell who's providing that.
Yes, so we are hoping to have an exciting day and let students see that chemistry is a wonderful area that you can be involved in, and that it would be an exciting area to participate in as a career, because we are looking for inclusion and diversity in the sciences for young people, people of different races and colors and backgrounds, so that we can push this area forward.
Let's push it even further by sharing some personal stories. So, what piqued your interest in science and in chemistry specifically?
Well,
how did you get into it? And then let's talk about how it blossomed into a career.
As a child, I was always interested in the sciences. Originally, I thought I would be a medical doctor, but then I had a summer stint at the Arwat cement plant, and I worked in the quality assurance lab there, and that cemented
No
the
pun
fact-
intended.
That cemented the fact that I wanted to have a career. I did not want to pursue medicine as my career, but I wanted to have a career in chemistry, because I got to see the chemistry that I did in the classroom, the titrations and that kind of thing. You see it on paper. The teachers write a whole bunch of chemical reactions. It really means nothing to you, but when you get to see it in practice, that is what cemented my journey into chemistry.
Well, let me just, summarize that for you. She worked at Arawak Cement, and it cemented that she wanted to
I love it.
work in chemistry. What about you?
Well, I received a Commonwealth Scholarship, and I took PhD in chemistry at Imperial College London, and that's where I started my journey as a member of the Royal Society of Chemistry. But I did chemistry from a different point of view. I did plant chemistry, which is, how plants work on the inside, chemicals that you can use on plants. And from there, I always loved plants and the outdoors. And from there, I said, chemistry is an area that, I should be encouraging more people to participate in. So that's why, I have gotten into this area, to encourage young people to, to participate in this area from a practical point of view, not just talking.
Okay, so I know you said that if you're under 18, you need permission from your parents.
Yes.
You have a number of tertiary institutions who are part of it, BCC, SJPI, and UWI,
Yes,
of course.
that's correct.
So talk to us about the registration process. You mentioned your number,
Yes.
but age ranges, so children of any age can participate?
From 13 until 20.
Okay, so teens.
Teens, yes.
And you're counting in the 20-year-olds too?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. They're not too much an adult yet. They can still come along and see the excitement that we have
Okay, and
available.
100 places.
Yes, we have 100 places available.
Good stuff. How would you say chemistry, or your involvement in chemistry and the sciences, has shaped who you are?
Well, as I said, I did chemistry from secondary school. Then I went on to the university, did a BSc in doing both chemistry, so I double majored. I did chemistry and biology. And then I moved on from there and did a PhD in natural products chemistry. And like Claire, I did plants, and I looked at the chemicals that plants produce that may be helpful to us. So that is what I've pursued. I love plants. I think we all grew up drinking some kind of Bajan bush tea. We don't necessarily think about the chemicals in our bush teas, but all of those plants produce chemicals, and those chemicals are helpful to us. So that is how my life has taken that path. And I'm doing a lot of outreach with students, with the Barbadian public in general, in terms of promoting chemistry, the compounds, the benefits of the different plants that we use.
All right, good stuff. I want to thank you ladies for coming in. I had a good time. All of a sudden, I feel like I need to be a part of something to do with chemistry. Yeah, but I'm sure the young people will have a wonderful time learning more about how we can practically apply all of this to our everyday lives.
Yes, please. Okay, thank you so much.
All right, we're going to take a break and come on back on Morning Barbados. Do stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right. right, welcome back to today's presentation of Morning Barbados. Now you'll know that we are in a different place. Nice and getting a little sunshine and seeing what's happening. And Renatin Mohammed is General Manager of Standard Distribution Sales Barbados Limited. So she joins us now to talk a little bit about our newfound partnership.
Absolutely.
Thank you, first of all, for partnering with Morning Barbados in this major way. We are more than happy to be here at your showroom.
Well, we want to welcome you and your entire crew to Standard Barbados. Of course, we're located in WIldey. So as we were watching you, I think we saw the sun come up. The sun is bright and beautiful, and you're seeing the WIldey traffic and employees and students walking back and forth. And we're loving that we have an opportunity to showcase our furniture on your set.
Absolutely. It's a little more than furniture because we also have a few pieces that we're using to accessorize. And of course, it is a gorgeous space to be in. It's a great vantage point to see the traffic passing by and things like that. But talk to me about your journey here at Standard.
Oh, my personal journey.
And we'll get to that, but the place you hold in Barbadian society as well, Standard has been around for quite some time.
We have. We are absolutely not a newbie to Barbados. We will be celebrating 65 years of being in Barbados this year. And, you know, it's interesting, when you see our customers walk through and come through the store, what you're seeing are generations. You're seeing granny coming with mummy, coming with, oh, this is so-and-so who just bought their new house, who's getting married, who just got engaged and looking to furnish. So Standards has been absolutely serving generations throughout the years. But we kind of like to say that we're not your mummy Standard. Things have evolved. There's always those traditional pieces that we'll continue to carry. But if you just stroll through our showroom, you'll realize that there's a lot of contemporary. There's modern, there are different colors, things are vibrant, and we're not just talking furniture, we're talking appliances. The range of appliances have expanded, and we stand by those that we carry. You have beautiful flowers, plants, the range of soft furnishings is also a very wide variety. So we absolutely encourage anyone who's watching to come on in. We're open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. And because, you know, we're one location, you get that customized, tailored service from our staff. Lots of persons know our people by first name basis. So we develop those relationships with you. And this year we've also introduced an interior decorator. She's in-store, correction, she's an interior curator. Okay. And she can provide you with that individualized, complimentary guidance that you may need if you're thinking about refurbishments, if you're looking for a fresh look this year. We have that sort of advice available to you.
I mean, you said it. You said it's not your mom's Standard, but I mean, when we look at pieces like this that we've pulled together,
it's gorgeous,
for the Morning Barbados set today. So kudos to your entire team.
Thank you.
I must say you have a fantastic team.
Agreed.
They've been nothing but helpful and really just gung-ho about this new partnership. When we look at these pieces, we know that it isn't, you know, the traditional of what we've seen before. So talk to me about how you've been able to kind of bring the brand along to this place.
Sure, you really need to have a gauge of what your customers are looking for. You need to follow the trends, not just locally, but regionally. We are regional. And globally, our items are sourced from around the world on behalf of our customers. In Barbados, there are lots of Airbnbs, a lot of hotels, and we know what they're looking for. They're looking for stackable washers and dryers, which, by the way, we have in store. They're looking for smaller pieces of furniture. And we find more and more, no matter the size of the home, storage adds value. So you'd see that you see a sofa bed and you lift it up and there's a massive base of storage that's available. Couches are coming with pull-out options that you can suddenly have an extra space to put up your foot and watch shows like CBC and Good Morning Barbados. But you also have suddenly an extra guest room that's available. So storage, colors, new brands, keeping with the trends. We partner with our sister company, Caribbean, for example, and they can match up the colors to go with your furniture and your palettes. So, you know, when we shop at Standards, it's really an experience. We do say that quality is a lifestyle here. We are helping to match the lifestyle of today.
Good stuff. Now about your personal journey with Standard, I know that you are kind of the newbie to the brand.
I am, but not newbie to Barbados. So I have represented Barbados itself on an international scale from a marketing and investment promotion perspective, and several global brands that are here I have been a part of. So it excites me to apply all of that experience and knowledge of the market to a retail setting. And you know, you think about retail. Retail is about building relationships with your customers, you know, improving on our customer service, which by the way has improved if you've not been to us anytime recently, as well as service levels and operations, and looking at things holistically. And Standards really does provide that opportunity for me personally. I'm very excited about our brand.
That's truly exciting. Let's talk a little bit about the layout here at the warehouse here at WIldey. How important is it for people to be able to walk into this space and feel like they can relate right away? They can see, okay, this would fit into this space.
Yeah.
The layout is just perfect so that you're able to kind of make it relatable to what's happening in your own neck of the woods.
So absolute kudos to our team. Alexia Halliday and others have been here for quite some time. They know what they're doing, and they know their customers. So when you walk in, you're not just going to see a piece of furniture scattered by itself. We sort of give you a visual of how this chair would look with this coffee table with these beautiful plants that are together, and we really help you visualize you know, what the possibilities are for your home. You know, our homes are our castles. We go back to them at the end of every day. You want a certain level of comfort, and we help you to make those investments wisely. We take the time to speak to our customers about their needs. Do you have kids? Do you have persons with mobility issues? You know, what's your color palette? We go through all of these things with you and make it, again, very, very tailored. So we would like to think that our showroom offers that experience. You walk in, there's a range of furniture. There's a range of outdoor furniture, and then you get into our dream gallery, where we have a range of mattresses and beds currently on sale and on special. Larger appliances, and they're brands that you know and trust. Frigidaire, LG, Samsung, with all of its technology that's suddenly included in it. And then we have newer brands, new to Barbados at least, the Drija brand, which is actually out of Italy and doing quite well across the region. And we want to expose customers to that. And when it comes to gifting or convenient options, we do have a lot of smaller appliances in store, and they're very modern. You're talking about air fryers that can do steamers, you know, appliances that are coming in different shapes and colors. I got excited this weekend about new pots and pans. If one could get excited about new pots and pans, it's very possible in Standard.
When we talk about range, though, it's important to note that, you know, there are many different areas, not just in your house.
Correct.
Maybe in your office. For us, this is our office. And here we are being able to step into this space and use all of what you have to offer.
Absolutely.
So I think the you know, some of the maybe misconceptions that people would have had before about what they would be able to get from here, you need to put them out of the door and start again. We just absolutely want to encourage people to come on down, even as we're here for Mornin Barbados, and enjoy a little bit of, take your time and walk around. I was here for an extensive period of time on Saturday, and I observed a number of families coming through, and I think that's what makes all the difference. That's what you talked about, generations coming in together to make those very, very important decisions, because these decisions are the decisions that help you to feel most comfortable as you live your daily lives.
Correct, and it's quality, but it's also affordable. And we appreciate that we're in the longest January and February that happens every year. So we do have those financing options available. My terms for 3 months locks you in a cash price. Anything beyond that comes, of course, with interest. But the point is that we've made it into bite-sized chunks that is easily digestible for the consumer on a day-to-day basis. And we're happy to talk them through those options as well.
That's very important, because that's one of the hallmarks of, I believe, standards throughout the years as well, where Barbadians could set their sights with dreams in hand.
That's right.
To be able to make their homes look the way they want them to.
What was that old ad that we had? The person still coming here and quote, check standards first. It's still something that generations do, and we absolutely welcome, because our financing options help make that possible. This year, just to let you know, our senior citizen discount used to be 4%. We've doubled that to 8%. And once every month, we're going to double that further. So I encourage persons to keep track of our social media so they know what dates that are there. When persons come in and we're asking, what's your birthday? It's not us being nosy. Once our system is aware of that, we want to gift you extra for the month that is your birth month. So there are a lot of new initiatives that we've embarked upon on behalf of our customers, and we really want to reward those who have been loyal to us over the years and encourage those to come in and explore and experience the standard of today as new customers, and to welcome them.
How do you feel generally about this new partnership with us? We most certainly are happy to be able to work along with you. This is not our first rodeo together. We've done a number of initiatives throughout the years where you've kind of work with us quietly in the background. This is a little louder, but we're open to that as well. And I think it really will be a fruitful partnership moving forward.
No, I think like CBC Standard is an institution. We really are. And there's some good energy and chemistry between us. And you think back to the days of bartering. You know, I have this and you have that. What can we do together? Can I get some of this? And, you know, it's really very much a win-win situation. And we look forward to absolutely partnering with CBC. And, you know, while doing so, showcasing our furniture and what we have.
Due to developing some specific deals for our Morning Barbados viewers as well. So as long as you tune Morning Barbados family, then of course we will have some fantastic deals for you too here from Standard. We're going to be here for a little while.
You are, and we love the look of this very beautiful set. Alexia messaged me this morning and she's right on the planet. I'm like, yes, we'll take but no, we absolutely look forward to the partnership to strength.
Oh, wonderful stuff. Renata Mohammed is general manager here at Standard Distribution. We're at their
WIldey showroom.
Their WIldey showroom. So we're encouraging you to come on down. Opening hours as well. So from 9 to 6.
We are 9 to 6 Monday to Saturday, and we get a lot of kudos for that, because for those persons who are on their way back from work to home, we're an easy pit stop. Saturday, a lot of places close like 2 and 3. No, we're very much available to you until 6 p.m.
That's absolutely beautiful. And I just love the fact that you also have, you know, someone in store to offer some great advice, because sometimes that's just what you need. Of course, you're able, your sales rep team, they're able to share, but as a design,
you're getting it from the design curator. So you're getting that professional advice, and it's absolutely complimentary. It's on us.
All right, that's beautiful stuff. Hey, we're going to take a break as we get ready to wrap today's presentation. I don't know if I'm going to get back to work anytime soon, because I find myself roaming, and every time I move around, I see something else. I don't know how the pockets are going to manage over the next 2 weeks, but I certainly am going to have a good time and encourage you to as well. Time for a break. When we come back, we wrap up today's presentation of Morning Barbados. A very special good morning to Tony and to Alexia and security who were up bright and early to make sure that we could get in and get things going for the CBC team. So stay with us. We wrap today's show after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I had to tell a few of the staff members, listen, get out of that bed this morning. They were having a good time, enjoying it. Thank you for joining us today. We most certainly are going to have an exciting time being here at Standard Showroom in WIldey. So we're going to tell you how you can join in on the action. Coming up on tomorrow's show, we're going to continue our conversations on CARICOM with Ambassador Comishong. He will be in. Plus the next chapter segment with a very exciting Barbadian author. So from us to you, remember to wear your smiles today. Do something nice for somebody. And most importantly, come on back tomorrow for another Morning Barbados presentation from 6 a.m. On behalf of the entire team and from Standard, have a great day. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados.